This is Cagayan State University, as a university when former President Ferdinand Marcos signed Presidential Decree 1436 on June 11, 1978. Created the university by merging various technical vocational institutions. CSU provided Cagayanos more access to quality and affordable education and social mobility for students from low-income families.
Halina't samahan kami sa isang makulay na paglalakbay. Tuklasin natin ang mga tradisyonal na sayaw ng Hilagang Pilipinas, puno ng sigla, kuwento at kultura, mula sa masigabong tadek ng mga Ilocano hanggang sa eleganteng banga ng mga Kalinga. Bawat galaw ay sumasalamin sa diwa ng pagka-Pilipino. Tara na, sayaw tayo sa ritmo ng ating kasaysayan.
Jota Quirino. Jota Quirino is a Philippine folk dance from Quirino Province, a Filipino adaptation of the Spanish Jota dance. It incorporates both Spanish and Ilocano influences. This traditional dance is known for its lively rhythm and festive atmosphere, often performed at the celebrations and events. Jota Cagayana. Jota Cagayana is a lively traditional Philippine folk dance originating in Enrile, Cagayan. It is a courtship dance, an adaptation of the Spanish Jota. It is commonly performed in social gatherings. Dancers use bamboo castanets to create rhythmic sounds by clicking them together. Binatbatan. Hailing from Paway, Ilocos Norte, the Binatbatan dance vividly portrays the abel weaving process. Dancers, traditionally women, use batbat sticks, mimicking the sorting, arranging, and beating of threads. Rhythmic movements and formations illustrate the weaving cycle, accompanied by percussive sounds from the sticks. Colorful abel costumes enhance the visual narrative. The dance celebrates the Ilocano weaving tradition and the artistry of the weavers.
La Jota Yogad refers to a Filipino folk dance. It is a traditional dance often performed by couples and is part of the wider category of Jota dances, which have origins in Spain. The dance style includes slow turns, representing contentment and family solidarity through the dancers following each other.
Sakuting. Sakuting is a traditional Philippine folk dance from Abra, originally depicting mock combat between lowland Christians and Tinggian mountain tribes. Influenced by Spanish colonizations, it began as a ritual symbolizing conflict and religious outreach but evolved into a recreational dance performed during festivals and celebrations. Incorporating Arnis elements, dancers use bamboo sticks in choreographed, rhythmic sequences set to lively music. The dance showcases cultural fusion. It's performed in colorful Ilocano costumes and remained a proud expression of Abra's cultural heritage. Jota Lal-loqueña. Jota Lal-loqueña is a traditional folk dance originating from the historic town of Lalo in the province of Cagayan, Philippines. This dance is a localized adaptation of the Spanish Jota, which was introduced to the Philippines during the Spanish colonial period. Over time, the people of Lalo incorporated their own cultural elements, giving rise to a distinct version that reflects both Spanish influence and Filipino identity. Sala Ti Mais. Sala Ti Mais is a Filipino folk dance originating from Isabela province, specifically celebrating its role as a major corn-producing region. It depicts the rural occupation of corn farming, and its history reflects the importance of corn to Isabela's economy and cult. Balamban. The Balamban Festival is a vibrant celebration held in Santiago City, Isabela, Philippines, commemorating the city's founding anniversary. This 5-day event showcases the city's rich cultural heritage and unity, featuring a range of activities including street dancing, cultural pageants, and traditional games. The festival's name, Balamban, symbolizes the butterfly dance performed during weddings, where the steps mimic the flapping of butterfly wings. Jota Isabela. Jota Isabela is a lively Philippine folk dance originating in the province of Isabela, a vibrant adaptation of the Spanish jota. It's known for its energetic rhythm and is often performed to the music of arandalia. The dance is said to have been popular in ballrooms of elegant mansions where people would dance in a fine attire.
Sala Ti Pagay is an occupational dance that portrays the daily work of a farmer in a rice field, specifically the process of planting rice. It features simple steps that are easy to follow. The dance was inspired by the hard-working farmers of Jota Isabela, dance researcher Jota Quirino, and Princess and Albano.
The Apit Festival dance is a captivating portrayal of the enduring spirit of the Alacapeños in rice field preparation, from pre-planting preparation to harvesting, while celebrating their resilience and unwavering commitment to preserving their cultural identity amidst their tiring activities in the rice fields. Agkadilyan dance is an occupational folk dance originating from Cagayan Island, part of the Babuyan Islands in the northern Philippines. This dance reflects the daily life and traditional work of the Cagayano people, particularly highlighting the vital roles played by the women of the island. The Tupig Festival is an annual celebration held in Losum, Cagayan, every June 9th to honor the town's famous native delicacy called tinapig, a grilled rice cake. The festival showcases local culture through parades, cooking contests, dances, and community activities. Baile de Bakal is the cultural dance of the Yogad people of the Agkadilyan, Isabela. It came into existence during the Spanish chain rule and symbolizes the courage and strength of the people of Yogad. The dance is an indication of how they adapt to new conditions and persist in the face of old invasions, connoting the courage and tenacity of the Yogad. It, in this way, represents their ability to change and endure in challenging circumstances. The dance is crucial to Yogad cultural heritage and is traditionally performed there during the Mangal Festival, a month-long commemoration to the heroes of the Yogad tribe.
La Flor de Isabela, meaning the Flower of Isabela, is a traditional Filipino folk dance from the province of Isabela, Philippines. Its history is intertwined with the cultural traditions and Spanish colonial influence on the region. While details about the exact origin of the specific dance are not widely documented, its existence demonstrates the rich cultural tapestry of Isabela.
Sala Ti Masetas, a beautiful traditional dance from Reina Mercedes Isabela. In this dance, the performers carry colorful flower pots, or masetas, filled with bright and bountiful flowers. These flowers show the beauty, joy, and rich blessings of nature in their hometown. The dancers move gracefully, just like how flowers bloom and sway in the wind. Their steps tell a story of gratitude, celebration, and love for the land. The Masetas dance is a way of honoring the farmers, the harvest, and the colorful life in the community.
Gozos ni Sta Maria, meaning the Gozos of Our Lady, is a Filipino folk dance that is part of the larger tradition of religious dances associated with the Feast of the Blessed Virgin Mary. While not as well known as some other Filipino dances like Tinikling or Cariñosa, it reflects a historical blend of indigenous practices and Spanish colonial influence.
Balik mo na yung bago. Mamaya lang yung harap ko yung library niya. Tanay. Esto. La 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 la.